YouTube, how's it going? The GOAT House is back with maybe the biggest news, the biggest signing in NFL history. Tom Brady not going back to the New England Patriots, going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Surprised myself, not really today. I predicted it to happen earlier, even though we had kind of a 50-50 shot on that, so big deal. But really overall surprised. Really didn't see him anywhere else but the Patriots. So, I mean, being maybe the best player of all time, in my opinion, the best player of all time, this is significant news. The biggest signing in NFL history, in my opinion, no matter where he's at his career. It's significant, and I'm here to, it had to get its own video. But there's more. I'm not just here to, the Bucs signed Tom Brady. Here, this is what I think. I think there's a lot more that goes into it, and that's where I came up with this video and what's in this video. The Buccaneers fans kind of get some special treatment here. They got the GOAT. They get some special GOAT treatment here. So we're going to go in depth about what this means, what I think about the Bucs, what are their chances being a contender, and really what the offseason plan could look like. So lucky Bucs fans here, but I'm not a Bucs fan. I think everyone knows that. I'm very excited for them, and it's not just because of Tom Brady. I can't stress that enough. It's not just because of Tom Brady. So we're going to break that all down here in just a second. We got all kinds of signing grades, everything you need to know for free agency on two of our channels, this channel and the GOAT House Plus channel. Link down below, description, comments, every video. Subscribe to both. Must follow that Twitter. Breaking news, reacting to the breaking news, answering any questions, giving my thoughts. Those people on Twitter get a sneak peek of what's to come on videos always. So, and answering any questions too, talking everything football there. That's a must follow there. You'll find any link you need down in the description in the comments, as well as our new podcast, 4 episodes out. There's a link down there, Apple, Spotify. Check it out. Buccaneers. What have they done so far this offseason? That sounds really funny because here we are. I'm recording this on the 17th. It's the second day of unofficial. It's not even the official start of the league year yet. That's Wednesday the 18th, so that's why it's wild. And they only have one addition, but start with Shaq Barrett, because Shaq Barrett was factored into the cap space before Brady and JPP. Shaq Barrett gets the franchise tag, $15.8 million. This is an A-plus move. Why? Because Shaq Barrett had a dominant year. He fits their system. He's going to get pressure. People wonder, is it a kind of a fluke that he had that? Well, if it is, I disagree with that. But if it is, it's another trial period here. It's a 1-year deal, 15.8. It's a great deal. It's underpaid. Again, I think he's proven enough. I think he's going to be good. But everything's just great. Another trial year. You're saving money, $15.8 million. I think he could. In the market, I think he could have got $18 million per year. And I don't think he's going to sit out. The Buccaneers turned him around. He fits. He likes it there. I don't see any reason why he's not happy, even though maybe it's a little bit underpaid. And if they do reach a contract extension where it's more money, then that's fine too. I like it. And then they re-signed Jason Pierre-Paul, $13.5 million per year. It was 2-year, $27 million, and it's an A-plus deal. It's an A-plus deal. I thought he was going to get a lot more per year than that. I thought he was going to have a lot more takers. Maybe he did. Maybe he stayed for less. He looked like he missed some games and was highly productive when he came back. Looked like he was a fit in this new scheme that was new last year. I mean, this is a steal at $13.5 million per year. It's an A-plus deal. And then they get Tom Brady, the biggest free agent in NFL history, a quarterback that by himself can turn around your franchise. And it's projected to be just north of $30 million at the time of recording this video. We don't know exactly. I'm fine with the numbers. They got better at the quarterback position. And it's another A-plus deal. I mean, you get Tom Brady, and there's some people, I definitely not even close to half of the people out there, but some people that think he's kind of declining. If he is, I think it's slight. I think last year's Patriots team was one of the worst Patriots team. It was still a solid team, obviously, but one of the worst Patriots teams we've seen in the dominant Tom Brady era or Patriots era. So I think this Bucs team, and people would disagree with me, but I think this Bucs team, take Brady away from the last year's Patriots team, take Brady away from this year's Buccaneers team. I think this Buccaneers team's definitely better. I really do. And we're going to continue. Oh, and then, by the way, projected cap at the top. We don't know how the contracts are actually laid out. We know Shaq Barrett's because it was a franchise tag. We don't know for sure Tom Brady's actually average per year. And even though Jason Pierre-Paul, we can split it 13.5 per year, we don't know how it's actually laid out. We're going to say it's going to be around a cap. I'm projecting them after these moves somewhere between 13 and 18 million. It's a pretty small range, gets you somewhat of an idea before we know the exact details on those contracts. So that gets you an idea there. So it was a great time to have a lot of cap space. And then we're going to break down the rest of their offseason here and my thoughts on the Buccaneers. Here's their strengths, and this is why I like the Buccaneers a lot. Now they have a strength at quarterback, and then they have the weapons around him. In my opinion, the best receiver duo in football. They have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin, the improvement he made last year, just all around built receiver, fantastic. And then the tight end duo is solid too. Hopefully O.J. Howard can step it up a bit. I think he can. It's funny because we were during a trade deadline, even this offseason, talking about could O.J. Howard, be a fit with the Patriots if he was to be traded. We talked about a lot trade deadline. Now he's with Tom Brady. He's throwing the ball. Run-stopping ability, top of the NFL last year. I know Ndamukong Suh is a free agent. Vita Vea is a key piece. People forget Vita Vea is a key piece. He was a little quiet early on in his career, which it's still early on in his career, and the Buccaneers did the perfect thing. They switched to a 3-4 last year. It's not perfect just for him, but that was a major perfect, because he's a true 3-4 nose tackle, in my opinion, and we've seen him really step up. And he's still not going to be a guy that's going to load up on the stats, but he's a run-stopping nose tackle that's going to continue to get better. The pass rush, we talk about JPP, Shaq Barrett. Some worried that neither were going to be back. They're both back. And then look at that whole 3-4 linebacker unit. It, in my opinion, and I think it's pretty clear. I look at a team like the Bears too, but I think that 3-4 linebacker unit is the best in football. We talked about Shaq Barrett, JPP on the edge, and look at the inside. Levante David, Devin White. I mean, those guys are studs in there. They do everything. Stop the run, blitz the quarterback, drop back in coverage. I mean, those guys are a perfect duo in there, as long as they're healthy. And the cornerback unit, I think underrated. I mean, this is the underrated part. People think, because they got Brady, they're a contender. It's really not all that. If they still had Winston, I was still ready to be higher on the Buccaneers because I love where this team's heading, really everywhere. But and they do have needs, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the defense, mainly, that's what's kind of going to be underrated here. Cornerback unit is, people just instantly want to say this secondary's trash. And I see people on Twitter, and that is just not the case. Yeah, they could use some help at safety. I really like this cornerback unit. It is a young, beastly cornerback unit, in my opinion. If you were with us for draft coverage last year, I was very high on Sean Murphy-Bunting. I like him a lot. They also have Carlton Davis. I was very high on him a couple years ago. He stepped it up big time last year. And then Jamel Dean was big time for them last year, the athletic corner from Auburn. They got two Auburn corners in there. And I mean, depth-wise, MJ Stewart's a pretty good slot guy as well if they need him in there. So I really like the cornerback unit. People hate on it a little too much because it was probably dead last in football for quite some time, even heading into next year. It definitely was. And then you just see the improvement throughout the year. You see the improvement in what the Buccaneers were able to do offensively, even with turnovers, and what the defense was able to do improvement-wise. It's because the young corners. It's because the pass rush duo. It's because the inside linebacker duo. It's because the run-stopping ability. And there's young playmakers all over this team, offense and defense. I like this team a lot. In my head, I'm always predicting, always thinking, and I really thought Jameis Winston would be the quarterback again, and I was leaning towards definitely playoffs with this team this year. And now they have Tom Brady with Bruce Arians, and with the best receiver duo. I guess you can argue that, but the best receiver duo in football, Tom Brady with all that. And I'm getting excited. I'm getting really excited for this team this year. But we're going to keep moving on. We're going to, the Bucs get the special treatment here. Needs. What are their needs to complete this process? They're a contender instantly with Tom Brady, with Bruce Arians, with some of these other, studs they got. But it's not all done yet. They need additions still. Where do they have needs? At tackle. Here's the thing about the Buccaneers. I think people rip their offensive line too much. Yeah, it needs to get better. It can be better. But it's not, to me, it's not a bad offensive line. Like, if you want to see a bad offensive line, you should have watched, I can list several teams from last year. Look what the Browns and the Jets are doing. The Vikings made the playoffs with a horrendous left side of the line. So to me, they need a right tackle. DeMar Dotson was aging, declining. They need a right tackle. Really, I didn't put right tackle in there on the graphic because I think Donovan Smith could actually be a right tackle. It's a possibility. But we'll say right tackle. They could use Donovan Smith can stay at left tackle. Interior offense line, I think they're okay. I think Ryan Jensen played very well last year. Ali Marpet's solid. You could get better over Alex Cappa. There's some talk about him moving the right tackle. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know how accurate that was. But overall, I think it's just one more starter you need from now and kind of monitor it. Maybe you can get better in the future if you have the opportunity there. Yeah, then you can get better. Running back, Ronald Jones, a solid rotation guy in my opinion. They need to get better there. They need to get better, and they, I think that's kind of the knock on Jameis Winston. What people knock him, a lot, but that's where I kind of give him a break is because nobody really game planned to stop the run against the Buccaneers. Like this team's gonna throw because they can't run. They like to throw. The defense is a guessing game for the most part. It really is. So. And how many points and yards they're able to put up with that says a lot. And now they got Tom Brady on top of it. Defense line's a need, but if they get Sue back, it's not a huge need. They stopped the run at a high level last year, and it wasn't just because of Sue. I talked about Vita Vea earlier in this video. They could use some depth there. Safety, it's not a giant need to me. Because you have guys that can play. Justin Evans had a pretty good year last year. I like the Mike Edwards pick. He's better in the box, just strictly in the box, but I like that pick. Darian Stewart's free agent. Jordan Whitehead's a solid guy to have. You can get better there, but it's not a giant need in my opinion. And then receiver 3, really a receiver rotation, receiver depth. Brashad Perriman is a free agent. You have the stud duo, but you could use more there. So what's really the plan here? Free agency options is the options and draft. Option A for tackle to me is the draft. There's not too many options out there, but there are some options out there. I think they take a look at Darrell Williams from the Panthers to play right tackle. He would be off the board already if he didn't have the injury concern. But that would be an upgrade. Matt Filer would also be an upgrade at right tackle, could be somewhat cheaper. And then, the last option here, which is a realistic possibility, and I still think they would be good with him, is bring back DeMar Dotson. So that's your tackle options going forward, in my opinion, to how to take the next step here. And then the running back options, I'm looking for the draft as well because it's a lot cheaper, a lot younger, and to me, better. The younger running backs are better. You wonder why the running back position is not valued as much because running backs start to fall off after their rookie deal, maybe plus a couple years. I would like Melvin Gordon. It depends on the price. Wasn't happy with his fumbling last year, but he's a good running back. We know he's a good running back. They upgrade tremendously here. Bringing Tom Brady in, something I forgot to mention, makes Tampa Bay very appealing too. So you're going to be able to get guys for cheaper. That's another big bonus there that I wish I mentioned already. So Melvin Gordon could be that guy. I like Kareem Hunt really over the draft pick and Melvin Gordon, but he's currently tendered. Do you give up a second-round pick to get Kareem Hunt? That's why I lowered it down to C. Kareem Hunt is your best option at running back, but again, the second-round pick tendered. He won't be too expensive. And then kind of the last option, Devontae Freeman after being released from the Falcons. I see a fit. There's injury concern, and he's not really the same, but I see a pretty good fit, and he'll make them better. He'll be the starting running back. And then we look to D-line. I want Sue back. That D-line was dominant last year, and he seemed to fit. He doesn't seem to have a strong market. I think you can get him back a little cheaper. You could argue Wolf, maybe Derek Wolf's a better overall player than Sue right now. You can argue that either way, really. But I still think Sue is the better option, just more of a fit there, and we know that. Kind of keep the group together. So Derek Wolf could be an option to provide even more pass rush, this time from the D-line itself, not from the 4 linebacker units. And then draft is the next option. The D-line class is strong at the very top, but gets pretty weak as the draft goes on. So draft's a little further down. And Mike Purcell's a sneaky one from the Broncos. Picked it up last year under Vic Fangio. Similar scheme here. Then the Broncos ran. So he would fit, and he would be a good starter for them. So these are some good options. Maybe I would slide him ahead of the draft, now that I'm thinking of it. But somewhat limited on cap, but it's crazy that they still have that decent amount, for signing those guys back. And then the safety, I look at the draft. Again, not a huge need, so you don't have to spend a bunch of money. The draft, I think you can get younger, better, and cheaper. Looking at guys like Rashad Jones, Tony Jefferson, and they could get back Darian Stewart, but the veterans, Rashad Jones, Tony Jefferson. Tony Jefferson can still play, just had the injury last year, but I would look at the draft. And then you just need rotation and depth, so it really isn't starter. I guess if you're starting 3 receivers out there, I would like Brashad Perriman back. He seemed to fit. I think you can get him back cheaper because this is kind of where he succeeded for the first time in his career. So I think you can get him back cheaper than you would think. But they could go draft. They could go both because I think you need more receivers after that. Taylor Gabriel is going to be a good cheap option. I thought he played pretty well the last 2 years, given that who his quarterback was. And then Dorsett, who's familiar with Tom Brady, could be an option as well. So, yeah, again, great duo, maybe the best in football, but you need more, but it's an okay situation to be in. And then this is the draft route I would go. Andrew Thomas, in a simulation where I only manually drafted for the Buccaneers, Andrew Thomas was there at 14. So then you have the flexibility. There's some people that think Thomas needs to move to right tackle. That's fine, but I think if you want to stick him where he's been playing left, I think you can move things around a bit. I would love Antoine Winfield at 45. I mean, that makes the safety group that much better. He's a playmaker back there, always finds the ball and can tackle. That would be big time. Van Jefferson, to me, is like borderline a first round, early second round talent. Why? Because he is a fantastic route runner and he can catch the ball. He's played against the best. He's done very well against the best. When recently or the last couple of years, they haven't been able to stretch the ball down the field too much too. He hasn't had the top tier quarterback. They got a little better throwing the ball downfield this year. But the reason why he'll be available here is because of an injury recently. Nothing super major, but he'll be available around here, and that'll be a steal. And another steal, Anthony McFarland. I'm way higher on him than everyone else, but this isn't a reach for everyone else here at 117. Anthony McFarland reminds me of Dalvin Cook a little bit. I think if they don't sign a veteran running back in free agency, McFarland comes in there, I think he's their best back. He can catch the ball to the backfield very well, which they need. Vision's top-notch. Has crazy speed as well. That's a sneaky guy to be very good in his rookie year right there. And then interior offensive line depth that can potentially start in the near future, Solomon Kinley. And then James Lynch I would like to fit a lot. I like him at 3-4 end. This is exactly where he would play with the Buccaneers, be a rotation depth guy. And Michael Divinity still there at 194. It's a great value pick down here at 194. A lot of upside there, and they have their starting edge rushers, but they need depth pretty bad. It's really not going to make or break this team, but they do need depth pretty bad there, and they get it there. The only question is, quarterback of the future could come into play here at some point. O.J. Howard could be gone after this year, so tight end. So that the other possibilities there. If you're looking late, Cole McDonald would be great for a future quarterback. Learn under Tom Brady a bit, but you shouldn't have too much expectations if you get him. Just low risk, high reward there. But this is what I end up going with this video, kind of an off-season plan video, because I didn't want to just come in here and sit here and just give you the boring. Tom Brady signed with the Bucs. That's great. All right, that's gonna do it. I wanted to really wanted to give you guys my thoughts on the Buccaneers, and because they got Tom Brady, they're a contender. But for me, it's more than that. It's more than that. People are really sleeping on this defense, and I think this is a sneaky team, but they're in a very tough division. So we're going to see. I already can't wait, and the official league year didn't even start yet. So let me know your guys' thoughts on this and your thoughts on the Buccaneers. I know a lot of people still kind of sleeping on them. Maybe they're just doubting Tom Brady a little bit. Some doubting their defense, but I'm all in on the Buccaneers. I think they have a legit shot at being a contender, really winning the Super Bowl, which it's going to be in Tampa next year. We never see that happen, a team play at home. I'm not here to tell you they're the number one favorites, but I'm here to say this team, for Tom Brady, but for more reasons Tom Brady, have a realistic shot there. So let me know your guys' thoughts. We got plenty of other videos covering the whole NFL, all 32 teams, grading the signings, and much, much more. And if you want even more, go to our Twitter. There's a link in the description and comments for everything you need. Check it out. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.